Hey guys, so today we're going to look at a mixed series and parallel circuit. I would basically classify this as parallel, but there are some elements in one of the branches right here that are in series. So you have a 4 and a 16 in series, which is then in parallel with a 10, which is in parallel with the battery. So you can see that the current goes around. It has the option of going through the 10, or it has the option of going through what it thinks is a 20, because a 4 and a 16 are 20. So you can see right away here that it appears that more electrons are going through the 10 compared to the 20. Why is that? Well, 10 is less resistance than 20, so more are going to go through the 10. More current will go through the 10 compared to the 20. All right. So let's take a look at how to handle this with the math. All right. So we're going to go over here. And what we'll look at is how to find the resistance in a circuit like this. Okay, so what we're going to deal with first is this part. You go, okay, those two, they're directly in series. So to find the resistance of that part, let's call this, I'm going to call it RA. I don't want to call it RT because RT would imply the total resistance of the whole circuit. So this we're just going to call element A. RA is equal to 4 plus 16. And that's equal to 20. Our units are ohms. And we have this 10 ohm. So now what you're going to have to do is we have this circuit. Now we're going to redraw it with RA as a single resistor. So we're replacing these two resistors that are in this branch with a single resistor of, well, you guess it, 20 ohms. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to redraw the circuit. I'll just move this around a little bit here. So we're going to put this, we'll leave it there. And what we can do is we can make some more room this way. Just go down the page. All right, so here we go. I'm going to draw the 9-volt battery. It hasn't changed, so we got the 9-volt battery. We go up here to our 10 ohm. And then we're going to go up here to our 20 ohm. So this is called like redrawing a circuit or simplifying a circuit. Now it's still not as simple as we could make it. So we could make it even simpler by getting rid of these two elements that are in parallel. So what we're going to do next is we're going to say, well, what is a 10 and a 20 in parallel? What's that overall resistance or equivalent resistance? All right, so here we go. We're going to go, well, a 10 and a 20 in parallel, we're going to go 1 over RT. We can use RT this time because we're almost done. And it's everything there is just in parallel. 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. Now, in this case, I'm calling R1 that, and R2 is that. It's kind of arbitrary, it's just a naming thing. So we have 1 over RT is equal to 1 over 10 plus 1 over 20. What does that make? Well, 1 over RT is going to be, now you could do this on a calculator, and you'd get 0.1 and then 0.05, and you'd add them. But the other way you can do is just, you can get a common denominator. So you got 2 over 20, 1 over 10. If you times this by 2 and this by 2, you get 2 over 20, plus 1 over 20. Now 2 over 20 and 1 over 20 is 3 over 20. Now this means that RT is going to be 20 over 3, because we have to flip both sides, so we get RT by itself. Now that should give you 6 2/3. So we'll go 6.67. RT is equal to 6.67. Now what we need to do is we need to remember from the previous videos when we look at this. So wait, that's 6.67 ohms. Well, 6.67 ohms is less than 10 ohms and it's less than 20 ohms. So how can this be? It turns out that when we take two resistors and we put them in parallel, their parallel combination is always going to have a resistance less than the lowest. Now this actually makes sense. If we just had a 10 ohm here, it would be a 10 ohm resistance. But because we added the 20 ohm resistor in, it gives another path for the electrons to go. So the electrons leaving the battery would see an overall resistance of only 6.67 ohms. When you put more resistors in parallel, the overall resistance goes down. The current coming out of the battery will actually then go up because there will be more spots for that current to go and it will have a less resistance.